Hello, welcome to Pounds for Pound, the #1 boxing podcast with me, Jay Wood, and
Mr. Spencer Oliver.
you know what I'm saying, don't you?
Yeah, it's been good, mate.
Yeah. I was going to ask how you are.
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine, mate. Just do you know what? I spent a week recovering from last week, from all the stuff from the Boxing with the Stars show and everything else.
Yeah,
It was
fucking took it. I think I was the same. I had a really fucking slow week.
Yeah.
Because couldn't get going. I was like, oh, God.
Well, when we come in to do the podcast last week, it's like, how are you? And you're like, I'm done. I went,
Busted up, man.
we're busted up. So sometimes you just got to pull each other through, ain't you?
And then I had a PA, didn't I? I invited you to a PA in Sheffield.
It scared me. I just hid under the seat when you said that. I thought, I can't do another night. But how did the PA go?
Yeah, it was all right. They're pretty good, these things. Normally they like book you a hotel or whatever, so you can go up and stay up. But I drove up there, got out there at 2 a.m. and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go home. So I got in the car and drove straight back. Yeah, so it's like a 300-mile round trip. I got back at 5 a.m.
So it's like proper jet lag, isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah.
It took me just about today I recovered, I think.
Well, I'm the same. Like from last week, I'm just starting to feel, recovered. Like, so I started watching all the boxing Saturday night. Was watching all the boxing, fell asleep like halfway through it because I was just like, because it was through the nighter. But a lot of boxing on one day of the weekend. Unbelievable.
But I chatted to you today, didn't I, as well, in terms of what's coming up. I don't think there's been a busier time that I can remember if you're a boxing fan. I mean, fuck me, every weekend now till Christmas, there are big fights, isn't there? You think about all the fights coming up.
Yeah. We've got Daniel Jacobs boxing over in the States. Here.
Fury, Pulev.
Yeah.
That's this Saturday, isn't it, coming up?
Yeah, we've got this show at the Copper Box this Saturday as well. John Ryder's boxing at the Copper Box Saturday. Then Daniel Jacobs later on in the evening. Yeah, you've got Fury coming up. Loads coming up, man. This is going to be exciting times for boxing. Well, I know we say it every week, but it is. It just seems to be going from strength to strength.
Yeah, that was like this weekend gone, wasn't it? The Saturday. Same. We had the Frank Warren show in Brentwood, and then, straight over to the States for the Andrade. Yeah. Andrade? How do you say it?
Andrade.
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 I think he likes Andrade, doesn't he?
Andrade. That's it. It is Andrade. I don't know why I said.
I was saying Andrade. I think Cougar was saying Andrade.
No, it's Andrade.
Fuck him.
That's what I was saying on the telly.
Should have been disqualified.
I was watching it a couple of hours ago. So I'm sure it was Andre, yeah.
No, he should have been disqualified anyway.
Well, yeah, there was a big debate about it. We talked to Coogan about this because I think he was over there, he was up close and personal with it. Because when I watched it, no one sort of mentioned it on the box. But Andre clearly knocked his opponent over. Geezer was flat out on the floor and he gave him a free clump. Now,
what is the exact ruling on that, Spencer?
Well, you should be thrown out. If
straight away?
Yeah, or like at least a public warning. But it was sort of like it was just like it wasn't mentioned. It's interesting though. Like I didn't really pick up on it, and then when I saw everything going on in social media, I watched back on it, and then you can clearly see it.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, mate. Really, really interesting one. But it's one that I'm interested to see what Coogan's has to say about it.
Yeah, be good. Listen, just while he was talking, I was thinking something just totally unrelated. We've been booked to go on Good Morning Britain.
We have, mate.
Yes.
On the 7th of November.
7th of November. So that's what? That's 2 weeks. This goes out Wednesday, doesn't it? So 2 weeks today.
2 weeks today.
7th of November.
Yeah, 7th of November.
And basically we're promoting our tour, aren't we? I mean, all that is going to start in earnest, really, isn't it? We're going to get out and about. We're doing loads of press. I think we're doing Soccer AM as well, aren't we? Yeah. I think that's end of November or something. What's the date of that? I'll have a look at that. But anyway, I'll announce that a bit nearer the time. But basically, there's all this stuff coming up for the tour.
Yeah, we've got loads of dates coming up. You know, it all kicks off on January the 12th, actually, it kicks off, is our rehearsal show at Potter's Bar, the Williams Centre, where we'll be...
only like fucking 2 minutes from your house.
Yeah, it's like... I'll walk there in 2 minutes. I can walk there in 2 minutes, but I've been to see I've went to see Jason Mansford there, so a lot of acts go there, and they all go there, and that's where they do their fuck-ups, basically. That's where we'll be fucking up and doing that. So it's all really... It's all good fun. It's a wicked theatre as well, really nice. Holds about 400 people.
But listen, from there, we move up to Salford.
Yeah.
It's fucking miles away.
Yeah, well, we
That's
are...
on the 22nd of Jan.
Well, no,
But then we come back near to me, 25th of Jan, we're back in Hertford.
Yeah, and then we've got the 26th, we're in Milton. Yeah.
29th, we're in Liverpool.
Yeah, 30th, we're in Sheffield.
And then we move to February. February 6th, we're in Birmingham.
Yeah, February 7th, we're in Kettering.
Now, we've done a couple of... they do a lot of boxing stuff in Kettering, don't they?
Yeah, they do boxing stuff everywhere at the moment.
They do like the Q&As, don't they?
Yeah,
and, we saw Michael Watson there, didn't we?
Was it Kettering we saw Watson?
Yeah, doing his little Q&A and all that.
Yeah. Well,
That pub, isn't there? Do you remember? But
was that in Kettering?
That's Kettering, yeah.
Oh, well.
That's great, isn't it?
That's all right. I was worried about Kettering. We're banging that place out there.
Kettering, yeah. The 8th, we're in Portsmouth.
The 9th, we're in Exmouth.
10th of February, we're in Leeds.
The 19th, we're in Whitley Bay.
20th, we're in London.
And the 21st, we are in Swindon.
So there we go. So there's all the tour dates. But so that's good. Good Morning Britain.
Yeah,
I mean, Piers has been a guest on the show. I've been on Good Morning Britain a couple of times.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
it'll be good fun. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the tour. I'm not going to lie. I mean, what we've got sort of planned, it's all going to be just, it's just going to be a madhouse. It's going to be fun. We're going to have chaos. We're going to have wicked guests.
Meet and greets.
And talking of wicked guests, we've got one on today, haven't we? Now, got a good guest. Yeah, we've got a great guest. So, you know that our show's all about boxing being the umbrella, and we get randoms on like Gary Lineker, we've had Piers Morgan, we've had on Ray Winston, we've had on, and this guy is one of similar stature, Jamie Redknapp. Jamie Redknapp's on the show today, massive boxing fan, and someone that I'm looking forward to chatting to. I knew his dad way back in the day when I was boxing.
Yeah, he's a big boxing fan.
His dad's Harry's a big boxing fan, but he also, I met him at a couple of events, and he said that he used to follow my career and whatnot, and at the time it was like, it's a real honour to me. And I've sort of known Harry and Jamie for a long time. And,
it's funny watching boxing on TV. You often see Jamie there, don't you, ringside?
Yeah. He's a massive boxing fan.
About where his love of boxing started, but obviously, it started with his old man.
Yeah. So
let's get him on.
Let's do it, shall we? All right, Jamie, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good, Ben.
Yeah, really good, buddy. I'm just sitting here with Jake Wood. Thanks for coming on the podcast, buddy.
How are you, Jamie? You good?
Pleasure, mate. Yeah, Jake. Yeah, all good, mate. Not a problem. Pleasure.
Yeah, no, nice one, mate. Listen, last saw you at the Anthony Joshua Povetkin fight. Good fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, great fight. Are we on now, yeah?
Yeah, we're on, mate. We're ready.
We're on.
We're rolling.
Straight into it. Love it.
Don't fuck about, Jamie.
Don't mess about. Yeah, do you know that we've... Obviously, I've always been a huge fan of boxing, and lucky enough, I've sort of met Anthony Joshua. He's come on League of Their Own a couple of times.
Yeah.
And he's just, obviously, a really nice guy. And any chance you get to go to these fights, and luckily, obviously, it's on Sky, so I'll get an opportunity to go. And when you see it close up, there's nothing like it. I love it. You know, I love watching AJ. And he's I think he's a brilliant role model, great ambassador for the sport as well.
Yeah, what's he like away from the ring, Jamie? What's he like? Obviously, people want to know what he's like in when he's just relaxing. What's the guy like?
You know what? He's a really lovely guy. We did a road trip in what was it, last year? So Freddie and I and we did, so different people would come out. So we went to Amsterdam and AJ and I we did a darts challenge, which was in Rotterdam when they had the biggest darts event of the year, and there's about 20,000 people in there. And so AJ and I were partners against Freddie and Tom Davis, who's another big boxing fan, a comedian. Yeah. And so we had such a laugh. And I'm thinking, we walked onto the stage, and Freddie changed our ring walk music to. We wanted to do something with Drake, and we ended up being YMCA. As we walked out, he was laughing, and then we all started doing YMCA. And it's like, I'm stood here with a champion of the world doing like all the YMCA moves. It was brilliant, and he's such a good lad. He's so down to earth, and he had a good. Like, to be honest, we were both terrible at darts. It was like the biggest upset since Lloyd Hannigan, to be honest, when we beat Freddie and Tom. To be honest, but good.
Yeah, I remember seeing. I watched that actually. It was really funny. Really funny. Yeah, he's a right down to earth guy, AJ, isn't he? Like, people can't believe, because they see this guy that the media have built up as this like really nice, good ambassador for the sport and changed his life and all that. But he's like that, isn't he? He's like such a down to earth kid. It's unbelievable.
He is, and I've got to be honest. You guys, you'll understand this. I could never understand it. Or to a certain extent in football out those days, when you're not quite on it. And, the amount of times I've played, I thought, well, I know the ball's going to drop there, but for some reason I just feel a little bit off to that. I don't react to it. I don't, he looked a little bit like that in that fight, and I was actually the first time I've been really worried for him because Povetkin started so well, and he seemed to he had his number, and I thought, come on, AJ, you got to snap out of this. And even when he walked into the ring, he looked a little bit dry. You know, when you see a boxer coming, normally you guys sweat. You know, you get yourself into such peak condition, and you've obviously had a great little session on the pads before you come out. I think he was one of those where he got through it, thankfully, and it was a real test for him. I think he wasn't quite right. He wasn't on it that day, but that's understandable. You can't always be at your peak, can you? When you do any sport.
No, I think that it was always going to be a potential banana skin for Joshua, just because of the attributes that Povetkin brought to the ring. He was short, he was squat, he threw hooks. Joshua, has a tendency to go back in straight lines sometimes. It's always going to be dangerous.
Do you remember when I met you? I saw you before the fight, and you said to me, "This is going to be a really hard fight." And I was like, "No, surely." I David Bryce obviously caused him a lot of problems in the fight before, and I thought, no, but you were bang on with your assessment of that fight.
Yeah, so because we sort of like people in the industry knew that, and I think that Eddie Hearn publicly spoke to us. He come on the podcast, actually spoke to us and said, look, it's not a fight they would have chose. They had to have it because it was mandatory. Joshua wanted to keep all the titles, so that's a fight that they had to go through. And, for me, I thought he come through with flying colours because, I mean, in the build-up, I don't think he was particularly well in the build-up to the fight. I know you hear fighters saying that all the time. I think
he had the flu, didn't he?
He had the flu.
He was, and then he had his nose broke, didn't he, at the end of the first round. He had to come through. But it's all a ball part of that. He's still learning on the job, isn't he, AJ? He's sort of, and you can see that as you watch all these fights, you watch his progression. And I think all these sort of fights will aid his learning, really, wouldn't they? Push him along.
Absolutely. We look at the fights he's got, obviously Wilder and Fury is going to be an interesting one to see who wins that, and then AJ, I'm sure, will fight the winner of that, which will be interesting because they're two different styles. Who do you fancy for that one? Because I think that's an intriguing fight. I'm not sure who I fancy in that one.
Well, I think I think the $1 million question is, can Tyson Fury get back to his very best, like when he beat Klitschko? If he can, then I think he fiddles his way through the fight, but I'm not sure that he's quite ready just yet, and I think that it may have come a couple of fights too soon for him. And I think that Wilder, especially on home turf as well, he's got to start favourite, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, he's got reckless power, and he's like swings punches from everywhere, doesn't he? Which I suppose is an asset in one way, but then if you've got a good boxer that might be able to pick him off, I don't know. I mean, it should be good though. It'll be exciting one to watch, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So, listen, I was doing a little bit of research earlier just to see if you had boxed yourself. So I was unsure. I know the Freddie Flintoff thing, Freddie boxed years ago, didn't he? And I caught you on the pads with Shane McGuigan.
So I'm all right on the pads because they don't hit back.
I was going to say you look quite good, mate. Is it ever something you've ever fancied, James, or was it always football?
Do you know? I love, but I think it's the best. In my career, I got bad knee injuries, so so I can't run. It's difficult for me to go for like 25-minute, 30-minute run, which I would love to do, but my knee swells up. So to keep fit now, I love going on the pads. I love doing the bike, etc. But I love boxing. I've always had a fascination with it. I've always enjoyed it. I enjoy going on the pads, but I'm not. Listen, you guys are the ultimate. You're so brave, but I've never really fancied, getting in the ring or having a go or doing a white collar. A few people have said it to me, but I don't know if I could do it. I just haven't got the guts. I've got to be honest. But I love it. I absolutely that's why I've always had so much admiration for you. You and I go back a long way as well.
Yeah, sure.
And so it's I've always been, I love to see the good English fighters do well, and but for me, the pads is about as far as it goes, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it's funny. We had we do a show, me and Jake. We do a show, Boxing with the Stars, where we have different celebs boxing on and whatnot. We had Wayne Bridgebox on one.
That's right, yeah. He was good though, wasn't he?
Oh, bloody hell.
Wayne's decent, isn't he? Yeah.
Oh, really decent. Like I when he first come down to the gym to train with me and he first hit the pads, I thought, fucking hell, if he never chose football as a career, he could have been a boxer. He was that good. He just had this natural ability. But he said something funny enough that which you just quoted on there. He couldn't run at all either. He said his knees were fucked as well.
Yeah, he's got bad knees.
Yeah. So it was but it's interesting. Footballers generally make a good transition from football to boxing. We've got a few of them. Curtis Woodhouse done it as well.
Yeah,
Leon McKenzie.
Leon's a good lad. I like Leon. He's a nice boy. Yeah. I think it's the admiration we've got for you guys because we obviously you get yourself in such great shape, and I think all footballers love boxing and love boxing. I mean, when you've got a big event, they're always there. I remember as a kid waking up, and my dad would always Like if it was a big Tyson fight or, Sugar Ray Leonard, we'd wake, he'd wake me up to watch it with him,
Yeah, I was the same, Jamie.
It was always a nice, I don't know, it felt like, so it's always been in my family. My granddad loved boxing. My dad reckons he could box, but I'm not too sure about that, to be honest.
Did your dad live in Mill Hill somewhere years ago, around that sort of way?
Poplar East London.
Oh, right, yeah. So
Charlie Magri and all that. He's always loved boxing. So he grew up around sort of the East End, Stepney, Salmons Lane, that sort of way. So he in those days, it was obviously a huge boxing fraternity around there, and he's always loved boxing. So, and I think it's something just instilled in me as well. And obviously the admiration for you guys and the bravery that you'll have, and every time you go out there, you don't know what's going to happen. And I think
it's different level, isn't it?
Yeah, different level. Yeah, I've got so much admiration for all the boxers.
So, did your dad used to box then, Jamie? Did he used to box back in the day? Yeah,
he said he did. He said he did. I mean, he used to, and I've seen photos. My nan and granddad, bless them, and they were like, they used to show me. And I remember seeing him, and he had a pair of he had his vest on. It was about 5. My dad was really slim. There was nothing of him. I don't know what his football playing weight would have been, but he was. I'm more my mum's shape than my dad's, because he would have been super flyweight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he loved his boxing. And he could. And I know my granddad as well worked in the docks, and he was a big boxing fan as well. So I think it's always goes through the family and the tradition, and I'm the same with my boys. I always they love watching the fights and stuff, because it's just it's part of your life, isn't it?
And do you go too much to live boxing, Jamie? Do you go to many shows?
Yeah, I try to. I'm really lucky. I can't lie. I've got because Sky, because working for Sky, they've got all the big fights of Eddie. I get invited to go, and not if I go, I'd love going. I'll go anyway. But when I've been a few times. I'm so lucky to sit ringside, and it's unbelievable. When you see it. And you see a proper fight, a proper tear up. I love it. And Tony Bellew as well has come on. He's been probably the best guest. I mean, AJ and Tony have been two of our best guests we've ever had, because Tony's just mad, and I love him. He's such a good character, and everyone's fallen in love with him on League of Their Own.
Yeah, I spoke to him. Funny enough, we had him on the podcast a couple of weeks after he'd been on League of Their Own. And we spoke to him about you throwing him up in. You had him lifted up into the air or something and tied up and all that, and he said he was facing. He said I absolutely hated it. He said they stitched me right up on there, but he's real good fun, isn't he, Bellew? He's
brilliant. I think especially because I lived in Liverpool for 11 years, and I like the special affiliation with the Scousers. So there's obviously a great talk about London. There's some brilliant fighters up there, and there's a few up there at the moment. Some real talent.
And you're going to be in Manchester for the Bellew fight, Jamie?
Yeah, I'm hoping to be.
Nice.
I really want to be there, because obviously I want to support Tony, and it's going to be a big one. It's a hard one for him, but he's a hard boy, Tony, isn't he? When I see he's got, you guys understand it, that hook. He's got such a great hook, and when you see someone, it's like when you see someone drop the shoulder and hit a volley, at football, and you think that's such great technique and it's just God-given talent. And it doesn't look like it looks effortless.
Yeah,
but he's just obviously got so much weight behind it.
Yeah, he's such a powerful puncher. It's funny with some of the boxers, because Bellew's got no muscle definition at all.
No,
he's got none at all. But he hits like
like a train.
Like a train. He's just unbelievable. It's like
what is that? Where does that come from? Just timing and just hips, I suppose, isn't it?
I think it's just genetics. If I'm honest, it's like just some people, and naturally you can't improve the punch power that much. Do you know what I'm saying? By doing weights and getting your body in brilliant condition won't improve the punch power that much. I think it's just genetically. Some people just hit. You see some fighters, they're like fucking unbelievably skinny, but they punch like flyweights. You see little flyweights and strawweights, and they punch so hard. It's like, I'm not sure.
It's like that Nui, isn't it? And the World Boxing Super Series. I don't know if you've seen their last knockout, Japanese boxer. Incredible power. He's a small, tiny little fella.
8'6", he's like 5'3" or something. He fucking knocking out everything he hits.
Yeah,
it's unreal.
I couldn't agree more. But it's like it's like you see golfers, when they hit that hit, when they strike a ball, there's nothing of them. And
it's just timing,
yards.
Isn't it?
How they've done that, could be just turning your hips into it, and all about the right timing and the power, and just pure in it, I suppose.
Yeah.
So I heard you mention Eddie Hearn there, Jamie. You pals, you and Eddie?
I wouldn't say I'm pals with him. Obviously, got to know him a little bit, just going to the fights and stuff like that. And I think he's done a great job. I find it quite weird when I go to fights and he gets a little bit of stick. I'm like, wow. I mean, this guy's done the job that he's done for British boxing is incredible.
Yeah.
all the fights that have been put on for people, and you look now and you're thinking we're filling out stadiums. We've got Wembley Stadium, the O2. In the US, they don't have half the support we do for our boxers. So I think he's done a great job, Eddie. He should be so proud of him, and I think we should celebrate that more.
Yeah, I agree. He's totally transformed the sport of boxing. Back in the day when I was boxing, like a Saturday fight night would be, you do well to fill the York Hall. Yeah. It was one of them. Like unless you had a top fighter on there, it was like you're only half full. Like although you had your
leisure centres,
leisure centres up and down the country. Yeah, it's like I had my debut in Cumbernauld in a leisure centre up in Scotland. Fucking travelled up there, and we had to get up there by coach back then. Travel all the way up there, fight, and then come back. Like it's
those
crazy.
Those were the days.
Back in the day.
It was a bit lively in where was it in Essex? Was it Brentwood? Where were they fighting this week?
Brentwood, wasn't it?
Brentwood.
Well, that was a bit lively. After good fights as well, but certainly. In the crowd, it went off a bit there, didn't it?
I know. I don't know what it is about these Frank Warren shows. He just seems to have. I don't know if he's just got all the fighters that have got like troublesome crowds, but every time like one of them fights,
it don't seem to happen at Matchroom, does it?
I think it's maybe something to do with the security or what. I don't know what it is, but it always just seems to. It's been quite unlucky, Warren, with the crowds in recent times. It was a big kickoff at the Tyson Fury Safari fight as well, wasn't it?
They were watching the fight, weren't they?
Yeah, the two fighters. Did you see that, Jane, when Fury made his comeback
looking
fight?
over, I remember, I know.
They stopped boxing, didn't they? They're watching the fight.
Yeah, right. It was probably more exciting than the fight.
Yeah,
it was, to be fair, yeah.
Totally true. Totally true. So, listen, what's your plans? Have you got any, apart from the Bellew fight, you got anything else in the diary, go to any boxing?
No, do you know what? I've one thing I've never done, I've always wanted to go to a big fight in Vegas. I haven't done that yet. I've not missed out really. I'd love to have seen Ricky Hatton fight in Vegas, or Pacquiao, De La Hoya, one of those sort of super fights. But I didn't really, get the chance. Mayweather, I never got Mayweather as well. But that's something that's on my list, on my bucket list. I've done a lot of great sporting events, and a good Vegas fight would be certainly top. But just waiting for the right one to come along. I always like to go support our boys. Have you done many of those ones? Yeah, I've done loads of the Vegas ones. Brilliant.
You fought out there, didn't you?
Yeah, I boxed out in America. It's just it's the Mecca of boxing, isn't it? To say that you've boxed at one of the casinos out in Vegas or anything. My brother turned pro out in Vegas actually because he couldn't get his license here. He had his first couple of fights out there. It's just unbelievable, mate. There's something about it, isn't there? But it's like, the crowd, everyone, I suppose, you go to Vegas, the excitement as well of being there, isn't it? Yeah, sure. But I think you'll see AJ there, mate. I really do. Yeah. I think that to top his career at some point, I don't think he's got any plans in going in there any time in the near future, but I definitely believe that he's going to want to do that as well, because I think every fighter's dream is to box in Vegas. Yeah. I suppose it's hard though, because he's filling out, he's getting 100,000 people at Wembley or whatever. Not quite as much as that, but like a lot of people at Wembley. Whereas if he goes to Vegas, you maybe get
20,000, 30,000. Yeah.
I think the MGM holds about 18, 20,000, something like that. That's one of their biggest arenas out there. So
the only thing I will say is, he from a branding point of view, if you can crack America, which he can, because he ticks every box, good-looking boy. Great boxer, and he could. That then takes you to another level if you go to America and become a superstar. That's what I suppose might be on his mind as well. But as you say, the crowds we're getting here.
Yeah, he's making. Sure. I think he's making good money over here, Jamie, isn't he?
Exactly.
Yeah, there is a good argument. Why go to America then when they're taking out Wembley? That
is the argument. That's basically what AJ says. What Eddie says. He says now where it was. Back in the day, again, it was like if you was in Vegas, then you'd made it, and that was the big time. Now, all the money's here. They all want to fight over here. Because we're filling stadiums, and it's become an event. Boxing's become an event now. It's it's good times for British boxing.
I suppose as well, if you looked at it, if it's the Wilder beats Fury, and you had a Wilder AJ fight, it would be a great. It feels like a Vegas fight, but the problem would be a lot of the fans wouldn't. It'd be so late, wouldn't it, for us to watch? You about 3 a.m. by the time we had the ring walk. It would be a real shame. But
that would affect them pay-per-view as well, wouldn't it? Because obviously the numbers they'll do over here is a lot more than they do in America. I think.
Whereas if you had 90,000 at Wembley, imagine that the atmosphere as well would be amazing.
Yeah.
Who do you see coming through that Wilder Fury fight, Jem?
you know what? He's always really impressed me, Fury. He's an incredible boxer because he's so, like, he's such a big guy, but he's got, I love watching people's feet movement, and he's got great feet. You know, he can move, he's got fast hands as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I just look at Wilder and I think he's ferocious, isn't he?
Yeah, he's wild, isn't he? Yeah.
I think the unpredictability of Wilder, because when you see him, he throws shots that you've seen thrown in a good pub scrap sometimes.
Yeah,
exactly.
I reckon Fury will school him. I reckon Fury's going to school him.
Yeah, well, that's a general feeling about a lot of people. But
I reckon he'll tie him up, Joe. I reckon he'll fiddle about with him. I mean, boxing-wise, I think Fury is head and shoulders above Wilder, but Wilder is exactly that. He's a wild man, isn't he? So, I suppose what Spencer said earlier, it's just whether it's too soon, in Fury's comeback, but that's what we'll find out.
He's an amazing talent, Fury, isn't he? I mean, it's like he's been. You know, you see Messi with a football. He's just been born to play football. Like Fury's just been born to fight, isn't he? You know, he's just got that technique, and he's very. I think he doesn't get the credit he deserves.
Yeah, I think sometimes he's not the most exciting to watch, but I think if you understand what he's doing technically, this is how it works for me anyway. Yeah. I love the guy. I think what he does, what he nullifies in what anyone brings to him, like he did against Klitschko. He just fucking, no one's done that to Klitschko. And if you watch that fight back, I mean, people at the time are saying it was really boring, but I guarantee you go back and watch that fight and watch what he's doing. It's genius, mate. His boxing brain is I think he's on his day best in the world. I think.
Also, I think for a geezer that's 6 foot, was he 6'9"? Isn't he? 6'9", 18 stone plus. He's so fucking nimble and agile. It's unbelievable for a guy of that size. And so it's you could never bet against Fury. Well, it's difficult to bet against him because you never know is that unpredictability. That's what I think that's half the excitement of when he fights. He's sort of so unpredictable. You don't know what he's going to do in the build-up. You don't know what he's going to do in the fight. And that's
the only thing is when you've got that power, and it was a little bit like AJ against Povetkin, because when he's under pressure, when you know, and you guys understand it, I couldn't imagine it, but when you've got one punch that could just finish the fight any second, it's lovely, isn't it? And that's what Wilder possesses, and it's the same with AJ.
That's why it's so exciting.
Once, and that was it. Good night.
I think that's why that's the fight that everyone wants, purely because of that explosion of like people go and see heavyweight boxing and they want to see knockouts, don't they? Basically, and what Fury brings is Fury's he knows the sweet science of boxing. And he knows how to fiddle his way through a fight, and he doesn't care how he wins as long as he wins. But with AJ rolls the dice early, and he'll have a go straight away, and so does Wilder. I think that's what the excitement of that fight is. I think that's the fight we need to see. I'm not sure it's going to happen in April, though. I think there's still a lot of complications trying to get that fight together. Eddie's struggling with that.
Yeah, no, it seems that way.
Yeah.
But no, when is that? What date's the Wilder fight again?
First of December. 1st of December's Wilder and Fury.
Right. Yeah.
And I think AJ's penciled in again in April for Wembley Stadium. And I think that was when they was hoping for the Wilder one, but I think that's going to be...
Wilder, I mean, they're both going to be... Even if Fury wins, obviously he'll deserve the right to box AJ. That'd be a great fight as well.
Yeah, sure. Well, mate, I think the heavyweight boxing at the moment, I think that's what sort of created such a stir in the boxing game in general, because the heavyweight boxing is really the pinnacle of sport, really. It's not even just the pinnacle of boxing, it's the pinnacle of sport, heavyweight title fights. Like, if you look back in the history, like Mike Tyson and all those Larry Holmes and all those guys, it's like when you've got a guy that's really exciting at the top, gets everyone excited. And I think we've got at the moment, which we haven't had for years and years. I mean, even Lennox Lewis, he was a great champion, but at the moment, the excitement you got around all the fighters that are around and the unknowing, like who wins out of, like, you can put Wilder, Fury, Joshua, any of them three in the mix. No one really knows who wins until they get in the ring. And I think that's what the excitement is.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
that's the thing, because they're devastating, and that's why we can't wait to see that Wilder Fury fight. It'll be fascinating.
Yeah, sure.
Jamie, what other boxers do you enjoy watching?
I mean, I'm trying to think really. I mean, Mayweather's been just, when you can go fifth, to get to that record, it's just incredible. I mean, and I'm a little bit frustrated about how it's gone now with him, because it's almost that legacy to it. Even if he goes and he's the UFC guy, if he goes and fights, I'll be like,
Khabib,
really?
Khabib.
He's an incredible fighter, that boy, and but there's a different skill set, isn't the UFC?
Yeah.
And I know, of course, and I've got no problem people earning money, but it's just, don't take away what it's been. You're the great, probably the greatest at what you do.
Yeah,
I'm
but
trying to think.
he
I mean,
made a
always-
statement just quickly. Mayweather made a statement recently saying he doesn't care about his legacy in the sport and all that. It's about the money, and if he boxes Khabib, he knows he's going to make a fortune. Khabib, as a boxer, would be. He would be nothing at all. He's like a wild monkey, Khabib, isn't he? He's more of a wrestler. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? No, he's like a
I do.
wild
Wrestler,
monkey,
isn't he?
man.
Well, you've seen the clip of him with a bear when he was about 9 years of age.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he's a
Dressed
dangerous
in
dude,
bear,
man.
it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
He's like
it's
fucking Mowgli, isn't he? He's like.
Yeah, but you don't. That's what I'm saying. They're just they're different skill sets. You know?
Yeah, different. I think we saw with McGregor, didn't we, and Mayweather. It's just a different skill set, as you say.
I didn't
Jamie,
like it. I felt really uneasy with it. Like, don't get me wrong. I got out, I watched it, but I didn't feel comfortable watching it. It was sort of, the boxing is such it's such a purest skill, and I think that it just that then takes away all the. The pureness of boxing when you've got different, listen, it was interesting,
I agree.
don't get me wrong, but it didn't feel real either. I'm not convinced they were at it.
I'll tell you, it wasn't. And I'll tell you what it is. This is what it is, James, that everybody was like, oh, this is a joke. And then all of a sudden you started buying into that, say, McGregor was going to, hold on a minute, he's sort of doing this with Paulie Malignaggi, and this could be interesting. It could be. So you all got suckered into it. And then after the fight had finished, you went, fucking knew it. I knew that was going to happen, but we all paid for it still. And I think that would be the same with Khabib. It's that like, I'm not going to pay for it. And then when time comes, you will pay for it because I know. Even though you know the outcome, you're going to want to see the fight.
He looks the other boy, Lomachenko, as well, looks unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree, mate.
He was at the fight, at the AJ fight, and obviously he was just sat a couple of seats away from. He had the smallest feet I've ever seen. I've never seen anyone so tiny in my life. But then when you watch him box, he looks like a colossal, isn't he? He's almost like a matrix. You can't hit the fella.
Well, do you know what? I had one like that in my day, mate. Nazim Hamid, and me and Naz grew up together. Yeah. And he was just fucking, you'd throw a jab and he'd be standing behind you and you couldn't work out how he actually got behind you. It was all really weird. So the answer to the question, what do you do with a fighter like that is fuck knows. Just, you know what I mean? You just got to throw everything in the kitchen sink at him and hope for the best. But
I love Naz as well.
Yeah,
I love Naz.
Naz is a great guy. He's we stay in touch regularly still now. He's a cool guy.
Still, doesn't he? Yeah, but he looks like he could be. Obviously trains hard. He looks like he's tough. And I looked at him. Some just look hard. They just look tough. They got those eyes.
Yeah, sure.
And he's. I think he's going to be good for boxing as well. And it's fascinating that he came over to watch the. He came to watch the fight. Whether maybe they're looking at it thinking come over here and maybe get a fight at Wembley at some stage.
I think everyone wants a big piece of that pie, don't they, Jamie?
I think that he's like training partners with Usyk. They're from the same place and all that. I think he's come over with Usyk, but. Listen, everybody smells money, and Britain's where it is at the moment. And I think, Lomachenko definitely wants a part of that. He's been spending most of his career in the States, but I think we would love to see him on these shores. I think he would like to box here as well.
Yeah, Usyk looks at. I mean, he was just looked at him. He just had those eyes.
I know.
Just an animal.
Yeah, he's sort of geezy. If you looked at in the pub and he looked at you, you'd look to the floor, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Out of the way. But Tony don't care.
No, well, Tony's like that and all. If you look at Tony, he's got some dark eyes as well.
Yeah, I know. Well, I thought he was not James Corden out at one stage when he sent him up to the roof.
Yeah, no. He said.
I really wish Tony all the best because he's. That's a big fight. And I love the fact that he'll go in there and he'll have a tear up, and I think that's why he's great. He's value, isn't he, Tony? He goes in, and even the hay fights were good. They were good, interesting to watch because he had a right go. Yeah, definitely. I totally agree, mate. Totally agree.
Listen, Jamie, it's just been announced today. Your old man's going in the jungle.
Is it? Yeah. Well, listen. So I read that on Saturday mornings. I said, Dad, what's going on? I said, he's doing the jungle. He went. Well, he said, I didn't want to tell you. I said, what do you mean you didn't want to tell me? He said, well, you tell me off. I tell you off. You're my dad. It was the other way round. He went, you know what? I just fancy it. I said, I got a couple. I need something to talk about. I've always fancied that one. And then I went, Graham Souness. I saw Souness on Saturday, and he went, Dad's doing that. He said, I'd like to do that.
Yeah,
I think
imagine Souness in there. They'd all run away from Souness, didn't they? All the animals and stuff.
What's your old man scared of? Is there anything has he got any phobias?
No, he's not. He hasn't really, to be honest. I never as a kid sort of trying to remember like spiders or anything like that. He never really.
I'm petrified of spiders.
I think he'll do well. I think he'll do well in there.
I'm just looking at the shower, you know, and worried about him with the old shower, shower scene. We might get some ad campaigns or something. It's funny, Dad.
It's not too cold in there, eh?
God. So, but tell you what, it will be. I've got. I mean, the other thing he said, listen, you got load of, I got my brother's got like 4 kids, I've got 2, so they'll love it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They can't wait. You know, I'm like, how about Granddad's going in the jungle? They're like, yeah, can't wait. It's gonna be blinding.
That's mad for them, isn't it? Being at school and all that, all their mates and all that.
It will be funny.
I can't wait.
He's I know you know Dad's Ben.
Yeah, I do.
He's got he's got a funny butt, and he doesn't know he's funny, which makes him even funnier. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a funny
but those are the characters that do the best in there, aren't they?
I think he'll win it because he's
not going in to impress anyone, is he? Or he don't give a fuck.
No,
do you know what I mean?
So I hope he finds a little mate, like not a little mate, but a mate in there that he can. Because from people that I've spoken to, they say the two things. The obvious one is lack of food, but he doesn't eat a lot, my dad, so that's going to help him.
Yeah.
And then secondly, it's the it's the boredom factor.
Yeah, they keep you sitting around all day waiting.
You know what I mean? There'd be no racing channel. So.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Well, listen, James, just before you go, mate, and we really appreciate your time. I know you've been really busy and all that, so it's to get you on has been an absolutely superb. But listen, before you go, we ask a question to all our guests that come on every week. And the question is, what is the king of nuts? What is your favourite nut?
Is this a trick question? Or is
No, I mean, is it a pistachio? I'm a pistachio man myself.
Yeah, so say you're in a pub, you have a nice beer, I would go with, all day long, I'll go pistachios, I'll go with you.
Yeah?
Not a cashew, no?
Well, cashews are nice.
No, not really a big cashew. I'd rather go peanuts than cashews, if I'm honest.
Really?
Yeah.
What, even the honey roast cashew?
Yeah, I don't mind a little honey roast every now and then, but I'll go third. They're the third, yeah. But I think I'll go with the only thing is take a little bit of time. That you can never get enough in your mouth at once.
Yeah, hard work, the pistachio, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit frustrating.
What about the pecan? A pecan is an overlooked nut, I think, James. Pecan.
Yeah, pecan ice cream. Yeah, not from though, that one.
Pecan pie.
Nah.
Pie, exactly.
Nah, it's not
can't beat a pecan pie, huh?
Oh, brilliant! All right, listen, Jamie, thanks so much for your time, mate. We really appreciate it.
Thank
you've been brilliant, mate, and wish your dad luck in the jungle.
Yeah,
we'll be watching.
He'll need it.
I can't wait to see him when he comes out.
He's going to win that, Jamie. Don't worry about that.
Nice one. Lovely to speak to you.
Yeah, God bless, Jamie.
Thanks, James. Take care,
bye, mate. Bye.
Beautiful. Good.
I knew he was going to be solid. Look, he's funny, isn't he? You watch him like.
How well do you know him?
So I've known him for a long time.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. So I've known him from when I was boxing.
Oh yeah.
Like that was so.
Yeah, you just sprung it on me. You went, we've got Jamie Redknapp. I was like, the fuck you?
Yeah.
Huh?
No, it's all from back in the day from boxing. But I knew Harry. I met Jamie through his dad because his dad's a massive boxing fan.
Yeah.
And I've sort of known him. So I've known him for. It's not something that I go out with and drink with or whatever. But I've just known him for see him at different events for years and years. Yeah. And he's just like. Yeah, you just pick up from where you left off, and it was pretty much like that.
I think what you were saying as well about that that respect for boxers and like how footballers have got a respect for boxers. I don't think that's only true of footballers. I think most people have got that kind of have got a little bit in awe, aren't they, or just a little bit. It's an unusual job, isn't it? And I think anyone who's even a small boxing fan holds boxers in such high regard, don't they? And there's a real cross sort of.
And they all have a little go, don't they? Like Jamie was talking about, they're doing a little bit with Shane McGuigan and all that. We mentioned Freddie
but it's
Flinks
always that thing about whether you actually will ever get into the ring, isn't it?
No,
the idea of it is one thing. The training is one thing.
That's when
that's a real line, isn't it?
Yeah, the person that's not a boxer, that is like, say yourself, that's an actor, a well-known actor. Can't go in McDonald's without anybody jumping behind the counter and asking for photos or whatever else. So you're known by the nation. All of a sudden you decide you want to be a boxer. Now there's got to be a slight little screw loose there to want to actually step over that line. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a test, isn't it?
It's a test. Like when I started boxing when I was 7 years of age. When I'm 7 years of age and you go down a boxing gym, my dad took me down there, and you get punched in in the face with a bit of leather, and your nose starts bleeding, and you cry.
Listen,
and then you go like this. You go, I want to go back tomorrow.
No, listen.
Well, then
I did Strictly 4 years ago, having never danced before. I think it's fair to say I like a challenge.
I'd see you what, and you smashed that as well.
Yeah, I don't know if I smashed the boxing. I don't know. I got to semi-finals.
Oh, you did, mate. You done well in the boxing.
Right,
but you done
but I like a challenge. I like I like to keep literally on my toes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
you've got to be on your toes in
Yeah.
both of those games, isn't it?
Yeah, you bloody have. But I was half hoping Jamie was going to go, yeah, you know what, I fancy a little go at that, because I was going to sign him up for Boxing with the Stars straight away. I was going, go on, fucking take the bait, James, take the bait. But no,
Listen, I can't think about sorting out another Boxing with the Stars just yet.
no, I agree, mate. I agree.
When the boxers start dropping out with like 6 days to go, fucking headache. We had that, didn't we? Yeah.
Oh, don't fancy it. I've got to go away for a couple of days.
We had a nightmare. The last show, how many boxers drop out? 4?
Yeah.
And one of them 6 days before. We're not going to name any names, but someone evidently shit themselves.
Yeah, they were like, our big stars. You know what I mean? They weren't just
I think that's why I was so stressed.
Yeah, it was a stressful time. All worked out perfect in the end, though. And brilliant guest. Well pleased with Jamie. Thanks so much for coming on.
Listen, now we go to our boxing man in the know, Mr. Kugan Cassius. He's been out in Chicago.
Yeah.
Let's hope he's collecting his air miles.
I bet he ain't.
Yeah, fucking ain't. Of course he ain't.
He ain't collected his air miles. And let's see if he can give us the lowdown on the Andre thing. See what he thought of it.
We'll find out what he thought about Katie Taylor.
There was loads on the bill. Tommy Coyle for me boxed brilliantly. I loved it, and I love Tommy Coyle. He's going to guess we're going to be getting on very shortly, because I don't know if all you guys have seen it, anyone's that follow him on Twitter, but they just keep going around ripping people's shorts off, and they done Eddie Hearn, didn't they? They done Eddie Hearn, and he had
over 1 million views.
Well, he had no pants on. He had no pants on. You see all the cheeks of his arse.
If you haven't seen that, go to Tommy Coyle's Twitter. And you'll see Eddie Hearn's bare backside. I think he took it in good spirits, didn't he?
Yeah,
the funny thing, Eddie Hearn tweeted him straight back saying, "You're now on at 4:30. Yeah, you're first on the bill."
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. No, he's a great guy, Tommy.
Listen,
I'd love to get him on soon.
You know, we've been invited up to Jamie Moore's gym to do a podcast from there.
Let's do it.
Which I'm really excited about. But listen, I'm going to buy some extra fucking
don't mess about. Don't mess about. No, because you know what you do when you wear tracksuit bottoms or shorts. No one ties them up.
No, I'm going to really tie it up tight.
I'm wearing jeans and a belt.
Yeah, I'm doing jeans and a belt. Yeah. I might get some braces as well. And like 2 pairs of pants.
That's it. Yeah.
They're going to get us.
Yeah, that's it. You got to get something.
Seems to be a thing in that gym. But I don't mind it because it's great. Obviously good for morale, isn't it?
Yeah, fun. And boxing's such a serious sport that sort of like, can take it's just that relaxation period, which is really important in the gym, and a lot of big family spirit in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of banter, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, the gym's thriving at the moment. Jamie Moore just won Best Trainer of the Year, deservedly so. He's got a great stable up there. He's built an unbelievable stable in the last 12 months. We need to get up there. We definitely need to go up there and get in the mix of it.
Because Rocky Fielding's in training at the moment, isn't he?
That's what I'm saying. It's a perfect time.
Fucking great, wasn't it?
So let's get up there.
A bit of that and I mean, what a fight to be preparing for.
Fucking, that's a great shout. That is. We'll go up there and do it.
Let's do it. All right, brilliant. I think I've got a couple of days next week, so let's jump on a train.
Perfect.
Right, let's get Coogan on. Coogie, what's happening?
Coogie.
How was the Science Museum?
It was good.
What did you learn?
I learned what I already know, that what the components of H2O are.
What are
they? Boys? Which are?
Go on, what are they?
No, you should know this.
Oxygen?
Yeah.
Hydrogen?
Yeah.
And 2.
We'll leave it there.
How was Chicago, buddy?
That was 2 weeks ago, but
Boston.
Oh, bollocks. I can't keep up with you. Fuck me.
He's international, mate. He's all over the place. He's Boston. He's a Boston.
Boston.
Bostonian. Do you know what? I am
Boston.
Now international. Yes, I am.
Welcome to Boston, Coogan.
That's not the accent over there.
How is it then? How's it go?
It was cold, but it was good.
Let me hear the accent, though. We want to hear the accent.
Take me there, Coogan.
Hey, yo, Spencer. What's up, man? What's up, motherfucker?
You're in New York, mate. I want to go Boston. I want to go Boston.
Take us to Boston, Coog. Come on.
Okay, wait there. Yo, Jake. What's happening, mate?
What area was that? In Boston?
Don't know.
Brilliant.
Let me try once more.
Go on.
Hello, Spencer.
I reckon I've got a good Boston. I've never been to Boston.
Go on, let me hear yours.
Go on.
Hey, Kugan. Welcome to Boston, you fuck.
Yeah, maybe.
Spencer, you do it. Go on.
I ain't got
Spence,
one.
Go on.
Hey,
Sounds like the Fonz.
I used to want to be the Fonz when I was a kid. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that why you're wearing that leather jacket?
Oh, don't.
Oh.
Anyway, how was Boston, Cougar? It was it was an eventful night out there, mate. Lots of going on.
It's a long night.
Yeah.
The boxing didn't finish till about 2 o'clock in the morning. Blame Eddie Hearn for that.
Wow. What time did it start out there then, Coog? Did it start late?
4:30.
Wow.
Wow, fucking hell.
Long.
It was long. It was long. I was telling Jake, so I tried to stay up and watch loads of it on Sky. Fell asleep during one of the fights. I think it was Kid Galahad. I couldn't keep my eyes open anymore. And so I thought, right, I'll pick it up from there and watch the rest today. Fucking hell, man. I still had loads of fights to go. I didn't realise that I still had Andre. I still had Katie Taylor. I had another fitting fight. I can't remember who it was. Yeah, it was a really long night, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it got to 9 o'clock and then kind of realised there's still 4 of the main events still to go out there at that time.
Right.
And that would have been 9 o'clock, 2 o'clock your time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, yeah. I think they kind of, Eddie Hearn knows that show went on longer than it should have done. Because,
Sure.
And the problem is as well, there wasn't any stoppages in the, apart from the James Tennyson and Tevin Farmer fight, the other 3 fights, Katie Taylor's 10-2 minute round fight distance, Andrade distance, and the other one, Galahad distance.
Yeah, they all went all the way, didn't they? Which is unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, the what did you make of the Andrade fight? I was quite impressed with him, actually. He's got quite silky smooth boxing skills, isn't he? Now, there was a big debate going on, mate. You can answer it for us. Should he have been disqualified in round 1, the knockdown?
Possibly. I mean, I was talking to Marcus McDonnell on the way home, the ref.
Yeah.
On the way home, and he said that there was a strong case for that, of him getting disqualified for that, I mean, look, should he have done? You just got to say possibly, and I'm not going to go, hey,
Well, look, we've seen it.
Possibly should have. There's a possibility that could have happened.
It would have been a big shout for any referee to make, wouldn't it?
Yeah, huge call. Yeah, huge call to decide that at that point of the fight as well.
I think that, I think we've seen it many times before as well. When a boxer is delivering, say he's delivering a combination of punches, and in that combination of, say, 4 punches, he lands the second punch and the guy goes down, he's still throwing it because in his mind, you've only got that split second to make that decision to stop throwing it. And he was he just let it go. And I mean, they didn't really pick up on it on Sky, but when I watched it today, because I saw the controversy going on Twitter and whatnot, I watched it, and it was a deliberate shot where he was clearly down at the time, but he done well to recover. If I'm honest, he done well to get as far as he did, didn't he?
Look, he come in there. Who's going to pronounce his name then?
You are. That's why that's why we got you on, because we call him mate.
All right.
I
look back and forth with Walter over this.
Yeah.
So it is Walter Katundokwa.
Katundokwa will do. Katundokwa. That's pretty good.
I'm saying it like he's Chinese. But
Where was he?
It was anything like your Boston accent.
What was he? Namibian or something? When he was in Namibian?
Namibian.
Namibian.
Anyway, that's where he was.
That's where he's from. Yeah.
MF, right?
Big dude.
Yeah, but look, 2 weeks. He was on the alert after the whole Billy Joe Saunders thing, and then, he wasn't in any sort of serious camp. He was ranked. Can you make the weight? Yes. Right, you're in. Let's go.
Yeah.
So he's tough. His record suggested he was going to be tough. 17 wins, 16 KOs. Yeah, look, give him some credit.
I do.
Coming in there.
I thought he done well, mate. For short time that he had to prepare for the fight, I thought he done exceptionally well, because Andrade, he can fight. I think he's a difficult guy to beat. Who would have won that fight out of him and Billy Joe Saunders had it happened, and will it happen now? Now Andrade's got the win.
Yeah, I think
the fight, I have a feeling the fight will happen at some point, depending on what the WBO do with Billy Joe Saunders. You know, whether they're going to ban him, as in give him a suspension from their rankings, whether they'll make him mandatory again at some point. I think Billy Joe, you know, if they say give him, or they've recommended a 6-month ban, I've read somewhere, I think at some point, you know, because he's had that belt for a good, you know, 2.5 years. He hasn't 2.5 years. Hasn't lost it out of the ring, in the ring, I suppose. He's lost it out of the ring.
Yeah.
So I suppose, you know, if they're kind of happy that at some point that Billy Joe's kind of, you know, paid his debt or whatever, however they look at it, you know, I'm not even, you know, I'm saying how they look at it.
Yeah, sure.
Then, yeah, make him mandatory again, and in which case that fight could happen again.
Yeah, I think they should make him mandatory. I think that we've seen a lot worse in the sport. People getting banned for a lot worse. I think he deserves a chance to get his title back, and it's a fight that I'd like to see. I think it'd be a great fight, by the way.
Yeah, it's a shame what happened because that was teeing up to be a great fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it would have been. It would have been. Looking at Andrade, it's the first time I've had a proper look at him, and I was impressed. He's an awkward guy to beat. He's got long arms, got good power. Yeah, it would have been a great fight. But also on the bill, Tennyson got a big chance against Farmer, and that was always going to be a difficult ask, wasn't it?
Always a difficult fight, this for James Tennyson, because again, it's that kind of step up from European level for James Tennyson. Had a great win against Martin J. Ward not that long ago, and then going in against someone like Tevin Farmer, who's, listen, if there's any fighter out there that needs motivation from sort of suffering an early defeat or early few defeats in their career to how they've kind of turned it around. You know, Tevin Farmer, I think, lost like
he lost to 4 out of his first 12. I was listening to it today.
Like that,
4 out of his first 12, the guy, which is enough to make a lot of fighters think if they thought there was going to be a prospect, you know what, I'm going down the wrong road, I'm probably going to quit here. But he didn't, he stuck to it. And for me, I think boxing skill-wise, he's got to be one of the best out there at the moment.
Yeah, he's extremely, like I said to him, but it's taken him losses to kind of for him to get to where he is. You know, you see on the flip side of boxers kind of padded records up into like 20, 30-0, and then suddenly, you know, they get beat in kind of their first sort of acid test. Guy's done it the other way around. He's kind of had defeats, gone through all that. Now he's, you know, maybe showing exactly what kind of fighter he is. But, yeah, it's impressive from him the other day. Thought the stoppage was possibly a little bit too early. Possibly.
I think, personally, watching it earlier on today, that Tennyson had sort of had the fight knocked out of him. I think that the referee, he did stop it prematurely, but I don't think there was too much of an argument from the Tennyson camp. I think that, to me, he looked like he was systematically getting broken down. Whatever he tried, Farmer was just slipping, sliding, really difficult to pin down, and he was just letting off shots everywhere and throwing them from all angles. And, I think the writing was on the wall, really. And, I mean, it's a good effort by Tennyson. He come out to win the fight. He started fast. He took the fight to Farmer, but then realised he was out of his depth. That's the way that I saw it.
Yeah. But yeah, talking about Tennyson now is calling him out. John O'Carroll, the Irish guy, he's got a fight coming up, an eliminator for Tevin Farmer's title. Tevin Farmer's on Twitter saying to John O'Carroll, you know, there's a few words being exchanged on social media between the two of them. Tevin Farmer saying to John O'Carroll, tell you what, don't fight your final eliminator. I'll fight you in December anyway.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, I don't know how that will materialise, but John O'Carroll, by the looks of it, if he wants it, and they could obviously agree terms for that, he could have that fight without having to go to a final eliminator.
Well, if you got that opportunity put on a plate to you, you got to go. You got to take the straight world title shot, because the final eliminator is always a difficult fight anyway. And if he's got the opportunity and it's given to him on a plate, unfortunately for John O'Carroll, he's a little bit one-dimensional in his stuff that he does. And boxing someone like Farmer is just a complete nightmare. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said to you, you know, they might decide that they probably might need that to see whether, you know, the eliminator.
Yeah, sure.
You know, and he's, We'll see. I mean, look, nothing's been set yet, so I'm just literally following it on Twitter over the last day or two.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Well, what about, let's move on, Katie Taylor. What did you think of her performance? Not the best I've seen her, if I'm honest. I think she looked a little bit flat at times. I mean, look, she got the job done. She's stepping up in class all the time. Big chance for her in America, in Boston, with a massive Irish contingency out there.
There wasn't McGregor there as well.
McGregor,
yeah, McGregor turned up. No, with Katie Taylor, I thought that Cindy Serrano, her opponent, just literally went in there with the attitude that she's going to make it awkward, and she's just not going to. Basically, she's just in there to last a distance. She was very negative, Cindy Serrano. Expected a lot more. She said quite a bit before the fight, and kind of that style of hers, Cindy Serrano, that wasn't it. You could tell that, without, it's not trying to be disrespectful, but basically, possibly after a couple of rounds, decided, right, I'm just literally gonna, she didn't offer anything, Cindy Serrano. She offered very little in that fight, and when. Spencer, when someone's that negative in a fight, it makes it very difficult,
I was just about to say,
to do anything.
Just not only to do anything, but to look good or anything against. Look, when you get a guy, when you're cut on your way up and you get a guy that's a journeyman, a really good journeyman. Me and Jake have been talking about this off air, talking about different journeymen and their careers and how they survive so that they can fight every week. So if they get stopped, they get a 28-day ban. If they get a 28-day ban, that means they stop earning money. So they become really negative, and it's difficult to look good against. And I got that feeling as well for Katie Taylor, and I think that's why she may have looked a little bit flat, because her opponent was just trying to survive, and that's always difficult to look good against.
No, I agree. And, they're talking about Katie possibly fighting Cindy's sister, which is the real fight there. Amanda Serrano, who's kind of dipped in and out with MMA, boxing, blah, blah, but she's a very good fighter as well. And that's kind of the fight that really Katie Taylor wants. And Amanda Serrano was there ringside watching that, has made some comments apparently after the fight saying, kind of bring it on. So we'll see if that gets made. I think Katie Taylor's looking to be out the 15th of December on the Canelo Fielding card, or possibly on Eddie Hearn's 22nd card at the O2. So if she could end the year with fighting kind of, Amanda Serrano, I think that'd be great.
Yeah, that would be brilliant. That'd be brilliant. Well,
do you think the appetite for women's boxing is growing, Coog, generally?
Well, it is growing. But the problem is like, I think Katie Taylor's profile in the UK, and Ireland is on a different level to everyone else's from the women, and she genuinely, I think she's got a following, especially in Ireland. She's got that following, and she's getting that US exposure. On the American scene, there seems to be a lot more going on with the likes of Clarissa Shields. Clarissa Shields is actually fighting on Eddie Hearn's card in Atlantic City on the 17th of November, excuse me. There's Celia Brackus, Katie Taylor's been linked with as well. But I think in this country, there's a lot going on, but the exposure of women's boxing, you got obviously Nicola Adams who fights in BT Sport. But there's not, I don't know, it's like the demand, I don't know where the demand is for that. I know there's demand, people like watching Katie Taylor, and I think that there's something there with Katie Taylor.
She's a very exciting fighter to watch.
She's exciting to watch. I think if you put her in with the right opponents, the elite fighters, I think you're going to get some really good fights involving her. As opposed to everyone else. Look, Natasha Jonas, who's a really good, really good fighter, but she suffered a defeat in her last fight. And they was talking about Natasha fighting Katie at some point, which could have happened had she not lost. So she's got to rebuild. I said there's Nicola Adams over with Frank and BT, and then I don't know where the demand is at the moment. I don't know what people's perception of it is at the moment. It's been it's been a couple of years. I don't know where the.
We had Nicola Adams on the podcast actually, and I kept asking her if there was, because of the the limits on how many girls are actually boxing at the moment, how many women are actually boxing at the moment. I said, was there ever a possibility you could move up to lightweight, or Katie could come down, do it at catchweight, maybe just above the super featherweight limit or something like that? Was that a possibility? Because you're two of the biggest boxing stars in the world, female boxing stars in the world. She didn't really sort of bite it.
No, she didn't bite it, did she?
She didn't. So it was not something that she said was really a possibility. I think she
there's
was
too much weight between them.
Yeah.
You know what? I think Katie Taylor's more likely to obviously go up in weight to fight some of these, girls. I think that's kind of the plan from her side.
Right.
But I think, Nicola Adams, just from comments that I've seen from Nicola, she's not going to have a long career in pro sport. She just wants to kind of get in and get out, more or less.
Sure.
Get in, win belts, and then get out. I don't think there's like a massive long-term plan for Nicola, but from what I've heard and from hearing from her, So, Katie wants to unify that division, and then she wants to move up, and she wants to kind of be, literally fight the best out there. She's got to fight at catch weights, but, for her to go up in weight as opposed to move down, then that's what she'll have to do. She'll have to go through weights to find the fights.
Yeah. Yes. It's going to be interesting, mate. But I think you're right, though. I think that Katie Taylor is definitely a long-term plan is to hang around for a while and sort of clear up the divisions where, I think Nicola said it on our podcast that she was only looking to box for a couple of years anyway. She's still as a pro. She wanted to get in, win a world title and get out, basically. So, it'd be interesting to see how it all unfolds. But I think women's boxing is growing at the moment. I think it's quite fascinating. I was not a big fan of it before, but I've sort of started coming round to it. I sort of quite enjoyed watching Katie at the weekend.
You know what we should do? Why don't we ask my missus about women's boxing?
Yeah,
why don't we get her on?
We'll get her on.
Put her on, mate.
Can I borrow you for a moment? Just something her over, as I do. 1 second.
Yeah, you got a big front room there, mate. What's going on?
No, I'm in the bedroom. Right, we're on this podcast now, so you can bring in Laura Norton because she spoke to Katie Taylor yesterday. Go for it.
Go for it, Laura. What's going on? What did Katie have to say? Hello, by the way. Hello.
Hi, Benny.
How are you?
Hey,
yeah, really
Laura.
good, thanks. So come on. What's the gossip, Laura? What did Katie have to say?
What did Katie have? You know what? She's actually really nice on the phone to speak to. No, what did she say? She didn't say a lot. She said she was a bit bored in her fight. That's what, pretty much talking about boxing. She said she was bored halfway through because she wasn't doing it. Nothing was happening, and she wasn't getting any punches thrown at her, so she was a little bit bored. But yeah, so she wants to meet me. There you go.
Wow, that would be interesting.
You were a pro boxer, weren't you, Laura?
I was, yeah.
How many? What was your record? How many fights do you have?
No, it's 4-0.
4-0.
I said to Katie Taylor, I said, when I was boxing, I always knew I was going to win. And I said, and it's an if, I was ever to fight again, I know if I went into a fight, I would win my fight. I said, but the one person I won't face would be Katie Taylor.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because when you turned pro, Laura, which was a few years ago now,
there was a long time, Benny.
I was just being kind, but there's no, there was no, it wasn't really. It didn't really catch on women's boxing back then, did there? There was so few opponents to choose from. It was difficult because I know you had to go abroad to box, didn't you?
Yeah, I had my pro debut in London and then went straight over to America and boxed out of America because there was no fight. I was like the fourth girl in the country to get her pro license, and you couldn't even get on a show because apart from like Jane Couch, who paved the way for everybody. There was, promoters really weren't interested and TV wasn't interested, which made promoters even less interested because, and there was no girls in the country. So in order to fight, you had to bring opponents over from abroad, which would cost promoters more money. And people weren't interested. And the problem was the level at the time, and this is, I'm going to say excluding a few people, the level was pretty low. So, it was hard to make a fight that actually anybody cared to watch.
Laura, if you could turn back the clock and then go pro like today, do you think you'd have more opportunities now than you had when you turned pro 4 years ago?
100%, because you've got the promoters who are interested. So you have opportunities because you're going to fight and you're going to get seen, which I think makes a big difference. You know, chances are you get televised, sponsorship, and there's enough people now in the divisions that you can come up, you can make a fight, you can market a fight, and I think that was the big difference. Back then, you could have one girl in one weight class, one in another, but there were so few. You couldn't market a fight for anybody because there was no opponent for them. And, the only way you can sell a good fight, it takes two people to sell it.
Sure.
Whereas now it's easy. The girls like Katie Taylor, she's going to be in a big fight. There's a few names out there now, and that's the difference. Back then there wasn't. If I was boxing now, it'd definitely be interesting because, a name I'd probably be shouting out would be Nicola Adams.
Sure. I mean, do you believe that getting women's boxing introduced into the Olympic Games, and obviously the girls doing so well, Katie Taylor and Nicola Adams and whatnot, in the London Olympics in 2012, do you think that's a massive part of the attraction for women's boxing now?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think getting it into the Olympics and then the girls actually doing so well, I think people got to see. And I think what used to happen was years ago, like when I was boxing, dads used to bring their boys, you bring the boys to the gym and, the stereotype, you take the girls to dance. And that's how it always was. So you didn't see the little girls in the gym training. And then after the Olympics, all of a sudden, little girls wanted to start boxing. So they're all boxing now. So the level for the girls has actually really improved because they're starting at like 8, 9, 10 years old. So by the time they're old enough to get a pro license, they're actually, they have all that experience behind them, same as the little boys do. Whereas, back then, the girls who did turn pro maybe have boxed a year, then go and get a pro license. And that's another reason why the boxing wasn't selling, because the level was so poor, because they didn't have these years of amateur experience that the boys got when they were 8, 9, 10, at the different gyms.
Interesting, really interesting. But you go to the amateur boxing clubs now, every amateur boxing club, and
it's girls, boys,
girls everywhere. When I was boxing, which was quite a while ago, by the way,
longer than me, Spencer.
Yeah, absolutely. But when I was boxing, there was not a girl scene in the gym. There was none around.
So 20 years ago, not one girl.
Not one girl. 20 years ago.
When I started boxing, the only girl that was in the gym where I started was Kathy the Bitch Brown. She had her pro license.
Who was the girl boxer in America? Not Maria St. John, the other one. She was annihilating everyone at the time. She was the first big.
There was Ann Wolfe.
No, not her. She was the first real big name women's boxer. She was the first $1 million fighter. I think.
Lucia Riker.
Yeah, it might have been her. Yeah, I can't remember who it was.
Layla Riley.
She was
no, it was before that.
Yeah. Back then. And then she did the film, like $1 Million Baby.
That's right.
The film.
Yeah.
So Laura, just finally, what apart from the Olympics, what do you think the trick is to getting more women involved in the sport?
I think really just the girls out there right now paving the way. Just got to keep doing what they're doing. And I think it's not just about having little fights and winning. It's about actually be willing to get in there and fight the best. We don't have, more so now, but there aren't as many journeywomen as such, because the pool obviously isn't as big for the girls as it is for the guys. So, you really have to step up a lot quicker, and actually match people well and have real fights. And I think if the girls just keep going out there, really training hard, fighting hard, more people will get interested in it and watching them. And I guess it's just going to grow from that. It's now acceptable to go into any gym, as we said, to see the girls. And they've just got to turn over, I guess. And that's the thing. And I think the hard thing is for the girls, for anybody, when you turn over, unless you have a big, contract in front of you, obviously boxing is a part-time job, because you do have to have a job to bring in the money, because you're not going to get it, one or two pro fights in, unless you've got a big name behind you and you've come from, the Olympics or whatever. You have to have a job on the side too. So I'd say to any girl coming through, make sure you get looked after, but make sure you're getting money coming in. You've got a job. I'll give you an example. Stacey Copeland, take my hat off to her more than anybody. I mean, that girl works and never stops. I mean, she works full time. She's a teacher in a school. She's now doing radio station at night. She does 10,000 other things, and she's a fantastic boxer.
Brilliant. Yeah.
So, it's just people like her, the ones obviously who do pave the way, and more girls have to, watch girls like Stacey and see, I can do this too. And then good luck to them.
But I think you're right as well, Laura, aren't you? Like the ones that are paving the way have to work so hard for it, don't they? There's got to be so much desire there, isn't there, to keep going, to hold down 2 jobs and then do all your training and all that. I mean,
it takes, mentally, physically, it takes a lot because it's hard. There's not really the money behind you, backing you, unless you're, say, Nicola Adams, Katie Taylor, and you've come in with a huge name like that. The majority of girls out there, they're working damn hard to get the money to pay a trainer in the first place. And then when they get put on a show, and they've got to go around selling all the tickets, because again, what I'm saying, most opponents are being brought in from abroad. So you've got to get your tickets sold to pay for the opponent to come over at least. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that people don't realise, when they just come and tune into a bit of boxing. But you've really got to, work hard and be completely dedicated, because boxing, like any sport you're going to do, takes over your life if you want to be the best.
Wow.
Yeah.
Laura, thank you. Yeah, that's
thanks for that insight, Laura.
Fascinating insight into.
We
get you on next week and Park Coogan up. I think that's really
what?
interesting.
I was going to say, it's like, he's just lying around now. He's getting ready to go to the gym himself.
It's brilliant, Laura. Listen, thanks for that insight. There was fascinating stuff.
Anytime, guys.
Cool.
Speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon.
Thanks, Laura. Take care.
Bye, boys. Bye.
Right. Let's talk money.
Cougar.
Right?
Cougar, she sounds very intelligent. I mean, you're obviously punching above your weight.
Well, she hasn't left the room yet, Jake. He went, she sounds very intelligent. Of course.
No, you're saying you're punching above your weight.
You missed that bit out. Punching above your weight. You missed that out. Go on, say it.
I'll take that one.
Go on, say it.
What? Say what?
Tell her you're punching above your weight.
No, it's not for me to say. It's for me to comment on.
Oh, you're funny, man.
Right.
You're funny.
I don't know. Boxer retired from 30 years ago, whatever you thought, Spence, and Max Branning's bedded half the square. Come on, boy.
Tell her you're punching above your weight, Coog.
She knows that anyway.
Hey, listen, mate.
Listen, Coog, I can't let you go without mentioning Tommy Coyle, US debut. He had a tough fight, didn't he? It was a good fight, that.
Good fight. Styles really, really gelled well in that fight with Ryan Westki.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah, I didn't want to attempt that.
Yeah.
The Polish Prince. He was a late replacement when he could.
Yeah, he was meant to fight Danny O'Connor. Ryan came in. They had a really good fight, actually. And
it was a cracking fight. Styles went well together,
didn't they? He was
they?
fit, that guy, wasn't he? Considering he was a late replacement. He looked fit. He's obviously in the gym.
Yeah. But Tommy Cole, do you know what? Such a refreshing attitude. I did 35 minutes with him, actually. It was, I think, the longest interview I did while I was out there. And this was his world title. This was his world title. He's a boy from Hull that has had an up and down career, had that Commonwealth title win. And now
spends a lot of time pulling people's pants down.
Yeah, we'll come on to that in a minute. For him to come out to America, I don't think people kind of look at it like that, the way Tommy does, which is the most refreshing thing, that he's come out to America for the first time. And you saw someone like, on the bill, there was a guy called Sean McComb, who was on the bill, an MTK fighter. I think that was his fourth fight.
Can I just interrupt for 1 minute?
Oh, look.
Spencer was Christy Martin he was talking about.
Christy Martin, that's the one.
Yeah,
perfect. I knew it was.
Christy Martin.
That's the
Did you hear
first.
that?
It's the
I was
first.
in the kitchen making dinner.
Has it come to her head?
No, not my dinner.
Christy Martin was the first woman I saw knock another woman out cold.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So anyway, go on, Cooks. Back onto it.
She's thrown me now. This woman, she's thrown me now.
Tommy Coyle, US
Tommy
debut.
Cole, yeah. Sean McComb, the MTK fighter, full fight in on a big card in Boston. I think he kind of was the first or the second fight on. And I said to Tommy, you know, you've got guys like Sean McComb coming over there 4 fights in. I said, he's had to wait. Tommy Cole's had quite a long career, you know, and he's been in a few brutal wars, Tommy Cole. And his opportunity to fight, it meant absolutely everything to Tommy Cole to have that US debut the other day. And, you know, there's probably a couple more fights for Tommy Cole, some big names being mentioned for Tommy Cole possibly. And I'd like, you know, his attitude just to everything is just spot on. It's just, there's no ego. It's just all, you know, he always refers, he goes, you know I ain't the best boxer in the world, and this is kind of my world title fight. Just for him to fight in a 10-rounder in the US, I say just because
that's a big deal.
There wasn't a title on the line or anything, but that meant the absolute world to Tommy Cole.
I think that's a reflection as well of Jamie Moore's gym. Like the whole gym is just fucking brilliant buzzing gym at the moment, isn't it?
Jamie Moore and especially Nigel Travis.
Yeah, sure.
Nigel Travis is very underrated in terms of how, not within the boxing world, because people know, but he's not one for limelight. That's probably why he's a little bit.
Sure.
When I say underrated, I just mean he goes about his business and doesn't.
He's an actor.
He's an actor as well. Yeah, but he does a million and one things. You know, he does a million and one things as well. And I think more props, to Jamie. That whole gym is absolutely spot on.
Yeah,
you know?
We're gonna go up there and do a little podcast from up there with all the guys in the gym. But obviously, we will have our jeans on with belts done up tight just in case the inevitable happens. I mean, we was talking about this at the beginning of the pod, but when he pulled Eddie Hearn's pants down was an absolute classic.
You know what?
He had no pants on.
No pants on the geezer. He was what's going on? Yeah. Commando.
He told the boys that, he don't really wear pants as well. This is before it happened, a couple of days before it happened. You know, they've been doing it to each other on the subway.
Schoolboy era.
Schoolboy era. So you know when Eddie Hearn's there, he's going to be a prime target. So once they'd done Eddie Hearn, there was still a day and a half left in that, right? So I was going down. I don't know if you see a picture Jamie Moore tweeted and Cole Frampton tweeted. I pulled my tracksuit bottoms like right eye up. Literally locked them in. So I thought, there's no way you're doing
that. That would be me, Coog.
That's it.
Honestly, I wouldn't. You can't be around them because they wait, and it's quite clever. They're waiting till you're that comfortable where they're not really even talking about it, and it's all, you know, you drift out of the zone of it could happen.
Yeah,
and then they get you.
I saw him do it to Kerry Keynes and all. He was on Kerry Keynes was on the phone, standing by the window.
He just carried on, didn't he?
Just carried on, pure class.
He sold it out, Kerry did.
Pure class. But brilliant.
Listen, Coogan, where are you Saturday night? What's the plan?
I am this week in Bulgaria.
Huey Fury
against Kubrat Pulev.
How
do you see that fight going?
I think Huey's going to pull it off. I do. I genuinely think there's going to be a night for Huey on Saturday night. It's a tough fight, especially Bulgaria. And, you know, Huey's kind of had the experience now at world level with Joseph Parker when he fought for the world title, and he wasn't successful.
Yeah, he was a bit flat that night, wasn't he?
Well, a lot of people thought he won it as well, by the way.
I thought I was one of those that thought that he did enough to nick that fight.
Yeah.
But listen, he's fighting an IBF final eliminator. Wins this fight, he will be then, or the winner of this fight will be mandatory for Anthony Joshua's IBF belt.
Wow.
You know, by the time the IBF comes round, I don't know who's going to have that belt. You know, we assume it's Joshua. There's another fight. You know, it could be anyone that has that belt. But I say anyone. It could be a few months before that's called.
Yeah.
So
this is a big fight, isn't it? Saturday.
Big fight, huge chance for Huey as well. Like I said, get himself in that mandatory spot, and then at some point, Joshua. I suppose, like I said to you, depending on what the belt situation is at the point when it's called, he will be mandatory for that belt for Anthony Joshua. So
yeah.
And what's the undercard like, Coogan? Anything interesting?
I know Savannah Marshall's on it. I know Pulev's cousin is on it, but I don't really know too much about the undercard, if I'm being honest. And so obviously for Fury and Peter Fury, I'm going out there. So, there's obviously a card from the Copper Box this week with a lot of good split 50-50 domestic fights.
Mm-hmm.
Jacobs is fighting Derevyanchenko in New York. That's for the other IBF title.
I'm doing that fight, actually.
Are you going out there?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But he's collecting air miles.
I'm glad. Do you know what? I'm glad. I'm whispering now. She don't hear me. I'm glad you never mentioned the air miles in front of her, because she would have spoken for another 20 minutes about that.
Oh, is it an issue? We brought it up. We made an issue of it.
Yeah, I've got a number anyway. We'll give her a call after. We'll let her know.
Also, John Ryder's out any Saturday.
John Ryder's out, yeah. And I said there's that Ted Cheeseman and a Senior Byfield clash. There's one fight that's not happening is Jake Paul and Craig Richards, because Jake Paul's injured, I read. So that was a good fight on that bill. But then there's Ryan Doyle and Jordan Gill. Who's the other one? There's a few really good kind of domestic 50-50 dust-ups on that.
I love them. I love them shows like that. They're a little bit like the next gen shows.
Yeah,
they put prospect in against prospect, and
they're all hungry fighters, isn't it?
There's a chance for them to showcase their skills on the big stage, like on a show, Sky show. Yeah, it's good, man. I really enjoy them shows. So looking forward to that, and also looking forward to Daniel Jacobs later on in the night. Yeah, it's gonna be fun, mate.
Definitely going to be fun. Busy weekend of boxing, and I'll be out in Bulgaria, man.
Listen, we look forward to hearing your Bulgaria accent next week, Kugan.
I'll hear it when I get back.
Bring your accent back, mate. But listen, great having you on as always, Kugan. We'll look forward to speaking to you next week.
Defo.
Cheers,
thanks,
bro.
Kugan. Listen, big thanks to Laura as well.
Cheers, mate.
No worries.
Bye, mate. Bye.
Bye, mate.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah, always good, interesting.
That was a strong episode, wasn't it?
Massively
and it's
strong.
great getting Laura on. Is that what you? Sorry, is that what you were going to say?
Yeah,
really good. Really good insight, wasn't it?
Different good insight, different insight, not different good insight.
It's different insight
into what really goes on in the world and how women's boxing's evolved over the last few years. Yeah, it was brilliant, mate. Really
I know. It's a struggle anyway as a boxer, isn't it? When you're starting out, if you think you don't really start making any money to even British title fights, you're not making bundles, are you?
No.
So if you apply, it seems like for a woman coming through, it's even harder. Yeah, you know what I mean, it's even more magnified.
You have to be to have a really good start in the game. I think you have to win some sort of medal at the Olympics for a woman, otherwise it's going to be difficult. But yeah, good app, mate. Really enjoyed that.
Good insight. Hope you've enjoyed it, guys. Pound for Pound is a Boxing with the Stars limited production. Created by Ross Siegel. Produced by Spencer Oliver, Jake Wood, Ross Siegel and Alex Siegel. Music by Keith Atack. Graphics by Lolly Edwards. This podcast is hosted by Audio Boom and edited by Zach Brown. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Pound Podcast. Listen, guys, please get your tickets for the tour. poundforpoundlive.com. Fucking buzzing for it.
Yeah, can't wait. It's going to be, we're up and down the country. Really looking forward to it. 16 dates. Want you to be a part of it. And it's going to be fun. So book your tickets now before they all go.
Sweet. Good luck to Hughie Fury and all the British fighters going out this weekend. John Ryder, the Copper Box. Another great weekend of boxing coming up. And they just come in thick and fast, don't they?
Listen, we've got the final show of the year at the O2 on December the 22nd. It's fucking Christmas.
Bring it on.
So Christmas. No, what I'm saying is boxing. There's so much boxing going on at the moment. And, we're glad to be a part of it.
It's a golden age.